is going to cover user input. Before we begin, make sure that you have Java and the Java JDK downloaded on your computer. You can run java-version in your terminal to check. Also make sure that you have IntelliJ downloaded on your computer. It's suggested that you watch the previous Java tutorials in this same playlist. Vocabulary. So console is the area of the screen where program output is printed and user input is taken in. An interactive program is a program that reads input from the user via the console. A prompt is a message telling the user what input to type. A token is a unit of user input separated by white space. And system.in keeps track of user input where tokens are read from. So, scanners. A scanner is an object that is used to read from system.in. It is able to read and consume tokens that the user takes in, that the user inputs to the console. Note: you can only have one scanner per class read from system.in. This means if you want to have multiple methods that read from system.in, you will need to pass a scanner as a parameter to those methods. So, only one scanner per class can read from system.in. Scanner methods. NextInt reads an int from the user and returns it. NextDouble reads a double from the user. NextLine reads a one-line string from the user. Next reads a one-word string from the user. And then hasNext, hasNextInt, hasNextDouble, and hasNextLine check to see if the next whatever is available on the scanner. If true, have something else to grab. Some notes. Each method waits until the user presses enter. The value typed by the user is returned. So here's a scanner sample user input code. We have to import the java.util.scanner. That's important. If we don't have this import, Java doesn't know what to do with the scanner. And then we have scanner console equals new scanner, open parentheses, system.in, close parentheses. And then system.out.print, how old are you, with a space, and then int age equals console.nextInt. And now age will hold whatever integer the person put in for their age. Common errors. Forgetting the import at the top of the file, attempting to get the wrong type of token, for example, calling scanner.nextInt when the next token is hello. So the next token is a string, but we tried to get an integer instead. Forgetting to save out the token that you just got. So if you call scanner.nextInt and you don't save it into an integer, it's like you're losing it completely. And then losing track of which tokens you have already gotten. If you lose track of the tokens that you've already gotten, it's hard to actually use your scanner effectively. So here's a cool thing. You can use scanners for things besides reading from user input. They can be used to scan over a multi-word string. So let's say that I have a scanner, scan, that reads from system.in, and I say enter a multi-line word of text. So now I say line equals scan.nextLine. I can create a text scanner that scans off of line instead of system.in, and then I can say while text scanner.hasNext, system.out.println text scanner.next. So what this does is it takes in a line of text and scans over it, and then prints that out one word per line. So if I gave it hello world, my output would end up being hello, new line, and then world on the next line. User input exercises. So let me get this into split screen. And I'm going to say new Java class. I'm going to call this scanner or user input. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Let me delete that. Delete. What I actually wanted was a new package, user input. And now I'm going to say new Java class, user input exercises. And as always, I'm going to have public static void main string args. Okay, so here I'm going to create my scanner. So I'm going to say scanner scan equals new scanner system.in. So this is red because it cannot resolve the symbol scanner because I don't have the import for scanner at the top of my class. To fix that, I'm going to click here and then do Alt, Enter, and then enter again for import class. And now I want scanner.util. And it'll include the import for me at the top of my file, just like that. Okay, so the first exercise is to write a method that prompts the user to enter two people's heights in inches, then print out which person is taller. So I'm going to say public static void print taller. It needs to take in the scanner scan. Okay, so now I need to prompt the person for two heights. So I'm going to say system.out.print enter two heights in inches. So now I'm going to say that int person1 or height 1 equals scan.next int, and int height 2 equals scan.next int. So I've gone ahead and gotten two of the heights, and now I say if height 1 is greater than height 2, system.out.println person1 is taller. Else if height 2 is greater than height 1, system.out.println person2 is taller. Else system.out.println person1 and person2 are the same height. Okay, so now I can call print taller with scan, and now I can do run, and I'm going to pick user input exercises. Now it wants me to enter the two heights in inches, so I'm going to say 24 and 15. And it says person 1 is taller, right? Because 24 is greater than 15. So let me try this again with two different heights. So 12 and 67. Person 2 is taller because 67 is greater than 12. And let's make sure that it works with a tie. 12 and 12. Yep. Person 1 and person 2 are, with a space there, the same height. Okay, so that was the first exercise. Let's go to the second one. Second one is to write a method that asks a user for three numbers and returns true if the numbers are distinct. So let's see, public static void print, boolean are distinct. And it's going to take in the scanner scan again. Remember, because we can only have one scanner per class that reads from system.in. So if we're going to use it in multiple methods, we need to pass in as a parameter. So now I'm going to say system.out.print enter three numbers. And so I'm going to say int1 equals scan.next int2 equals scan.next int3 equals scan.next int. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is with this one, I'm just going to go ahead and return my answer. And I'm going to check to see if any of them are equal to each other, because that's easy, right? So I'm going to say if 1 is equal to 2, or 2 is equal to 3, or 1 is equal to 3, right? So this will be if any of them are equal to each other. But what I want is to know if they're distinct. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw on a not in parentheses with parentheses around it. So this is if any of them match, and then I'm just going to throw a not to make sure that they're all distinct. So now I'm going to not call print taller. I'm going to call system.out.println our distinct scan. And I'm going to hit play again. So enter three numbers, 1, 2, 3. And all those are distinct. What if I do 1, 1, 3? That's false. What if I do 1, 3, 1? Also false. And finally, what if I do 3, 1, 1? Right, also false. So it works, and that's good. Now for the next exercise. Write a method that determines if we have time to go out for lunch and can afford it. Inputs are the distance to the restaurant, the average walking speed, the time required to finish the meal, the time available, the expected cost of the meal, and the money available. So we're going to need to ask the user for all of these things, right? So public, static, boolean, time for lunch. It's going to take it a scan again. Okay, so in order to get all of these things, I'm going to prompt the user one at a time for them and get them one at a time. So system.out.print, not println, enter distance to restaurant, can't spell. And I'm going to say int distance equals scan.nextInt, assuming everything they're entering is going to be integers. And then system.out.print, enter walking speed, int speed equals scan.nextInt. And you know what? I'm going to make speed a double, just because they could be saying that they are going to walk 2.3 miles per hour. And you know what? Distance makes sense as a double too. So I'm going to go ahead and make that a double, and then do next double. And now I'm going to enter time to finish meal. I'm going to say double time to eating time equals scan.next double. System.out.println, enter time available, double time available equals scan.next double. And that's the method, so it needs parentheses. And now I want system.out.println, enter cost of meal, double cost equals scan.next double. System.out.println, enter money available, double money equals scan.next double. Okay, so now we have all the components that we need. So I'm going to say that the double total time equals the distance divided by the speed plus the eating time. And I'm going to return total time is less than time available, and the cost is less than or equal to the money. Less than or equal to. Okay. Time and money for lunch. So let's call this method here. System.out.println time and money for lunch. You know what? Time and money for lunch scan. There we go. So let's play. Okay, so enter distance to restaurant. Let's say that the restaurant is 10 miles away. Walking speed. Let's say we walk 10 miles per hour. Enter time to finish the meal. Let's say it's going to take us 10 minutes to finish our meal. The time available. Let's say that we have 40 minutes. Cost of meal. Let's say it's going to be $12, and the money available is $13. True, right? Because we have plenty of time because there's 40 minutes available. It'll take us 10 minutes to eat and only 1 minute to walk there. Yeah. Let's assume this is miles per minute. Everything is in the same. Let's assume everything's in the same units. And these shouldn't be printlns, they should all be prints. So that way things stay on the same line, nice and neat. So I'll try that again. So the distance to the restaurant is 10. Walking speed is 10. 10, 40, 12, 15, true. Plenty of time to go. And let's make sure the negative is true. So let's say this is 100 and 1. So this is 1, 10. Say we only have 4 minutes to finish the meal. False, right? Because we don't have enough time to eat. Let's see what happens if we have enough time, but not enough money. False, right? So it works in the case where we have enough time and enough money, and it fails in the case where we don't have enough time or we don't have enough money. So it seems to be working. Okay. And this final one is write a method that asks the user for a line of input and returns if that line of input is a palindrome, the same backwards and forwards. So some examples are mirror rim, race car, and Hannah. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, public static boolean is palindrome. Scanner, scan. So let's prompt the person. Enter a word. And then we're going to say string word equals scan.next. So now we have word. And we want to make sure that it's the same backwards and forwards. So what we can do is we can reverse the string. So we can say that string word reverse equals word dot. You know what? That's not a method. So since we can't just we can't just reverse the word, right? Because that's not a method that we can do. So what we have to do is keep track of the end of the word and the beginning of the word and move them closer to each other, checking to make sure that they're all the same along the way. So we're going to have an int start equals 0, int end equals word.length minus 1, because that's the last index that we have since strings are 0 indexed. And now we can go from start and end and move them closer together, checking along the way that they're all the same. So we can say while start is not equal to end if word.char at start is not equal to word.char at end, return false. And now we want to add to start and subtract from end. And if they make it all the way through the while loop, we want to return true. So now we're going to call system.out.println is palindrome scan, and that's the palindrome method. Press play. So we're going to enter a word, Hannah. Ooh, an exception. String index out of range 6. Plus, minus. Let's see. Word.chart start. Let's try this again. Set the less than. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, Hannah. So the problem before was that Hannah has an even number of letters, and so start and end were never equal to each other. They just switched places at some point. So I needed to make it start less than end. So let's try again. Mirror ramp. False. So you see the problem here? That space wasn't counted because I just did scan.next. So I should have done next line instead. Mirror ramp. False. Nice. So let's see what the problem is there. So the problem there is that this space threw me off, right? Because I didn't take care of it. So what I want to say is that word is equal to word dot replace a space with just the empty string. So let's try again. Mirror ramp. True, it is a palindrome. Let's try with race car. True, it is a palindrome. Let's make sure that it's not just a bunch of positives. I'm getting an infinite loop somehow. So let's see. Seems like maybe yeah, it's working now. Oh, you know what the problem is? If I hit play and then play again, it gives me an infinite loop, or a program that's still running because it's just waiting for my input. That's the problem. So I shouldn't do that. I should always enter my words. The program stops waiting. So I'm going to keep in mind. Okay. So that works. My palindrome program works. Great. Okay. So The practice for later is to edit your paper, rock, scissors code from the if else practice problem to take in user input for the two players' moves and take in user input asking the user if they would like to play a game of rock, paper, scissors. You should continue to play the game as long as the user enters Y for wanting to play the game. They should play one round before being asked if they would like to play again. And that's it. I hope that was helpful.